They told you destiny is carved in stone, but the truth is, it rewrites itself every night in silence. Within the sacred hours of sleep, hidden doors swing open, and unseen forces rush to serve you. Scary how fast this works, isn't it? Since the dawn of human memory, seekers have whispered about the unseen world that awakens when our eyes close. You've felt it before, the strange clarity upon waking, the dream that seemed to predict tomorrow, the heaviness of a choice echoing in your chest before it arrives. What if none of that was coincidence? What if your sleep is not just rest, but a sacred gateway where your future is written line by line, thought by thought? This audiobook is not entertainment. It is initiation, a journey into the hidden chambers of your subconscious mind where every belief, every expectation, every buried vision waits to be rewritten. Scientists call it neuroplasticity. Mystics call it the dream temple, but both agree on one thing. The mind becomes pliable in the twilight between wakefulness and slumber. What you impress upon it in those sacred moments does not vanish. It grows. Your destiny is not fixed. It is liquid, responsive, shaped by the impressions you feed it nightly. With each practice, each ritual, each whispered suggestion you'll learn here, you will feel the architecture of your reality shifting. Doors long locked will open, burdens will dissolve, pathways you never imagined will light themselves before you. Prepare yourself. This is no ordinary guide. It is a map to reprogramming the deepest layers of your being, aligning your subconscious with the life you were always meant to live. Tonight, your sleep becomes more than silence. It becomes the engine of your transformation. Chapter 1. The Silent Architect of Destiny. In the quiet chambers of night, when the world slips into shadows and even the stars seem to hush, something ancient stirs within you. It is not sleep alone, not the mere folding of consciousness into rest, but an intelligence vaster than your waking thoughts. This is the silent architect, your subconscious mind, the unseen builder of the life you live. By day, you may imagine yourself in command, steering decisions with reason and will, but it is this silent force that lays the foundations beneath your every choice. Consider for a moment the dreams you've carried since childhood. Some bloomed effortlessly, as if fate itself bent toward your desire. Others withered no matter how fiercely you chased them. Why? The architect had already drafted the blueprint, and that blueprint was etched not by conscious wishing, but by the impressions absorbed when you drifted into slumber. Each night the architect sharpened its tools, sketching your tomorrows upon the unseen canvas of mind. Long ago, sages compared the night to a temple. In their vision, the body was the altar, the breath was incense, and thoughts were offerings cast into the holy fire of subconscious creation. They taught their disciples that destiny is not written in the heavens, but sown in the soft soil of dreams. Every idea, every emotion you carry into sleep becomes mortar in the unseen walls of your future. Eleonora, a healer of a forgotten coastal town, once revealed this truth to her apprentices. Troubled by famine, the villagers begged for remedies. While others searched for herbs and charms, she instructed her students in silence. Do not only heal with hands, but heal with dreams. Each night as you fall into darkness, picture this village fed, fields green, children laughing. Hold it with such clarity that you awaken carrying the fragrance of abundance. Within a season, their barren soil erupted with crops after unexpected rains, and traders brought food at prices once thought impossible. The villagers called it miracle. Eleonora only smiled, for she knew the silent architect had been commissioned by the nightly visions of her apprentices. You too are an apprentice of this eternal art. Each night the architect awaits your instruction, and yet most drift into sleep as beggars who never make their request. They carry worries as though laying bricks of fear, constructing futures they do not desire. They replay arguments, plant seeds of scarcity, water doubts with sighs and restless turning, and then they awaken to wonder why destiny seems unkind. But destiny is not cruel, it is obedient. It builds faithfully from whatever blueprint you have supplied. The practice of awakening to this architect begins simply. Before sleep, pause. Let the noise of the day dissolve. Ask yourself, what do I wish my architect to design tonight? Do not phrase it as desperation, but as certainty. Like a king commissioning a palace, state it with reverence. I dwell in peace. My path flows with abundance. My body thrives in radiant health. These are not pleas. They are orders inscribed in sacred ink. As you lie in stillness, imagine the architect at work, its hands of light sketching corridors of opportunity, erecting arches of resilience, planting gardens of joy. Feel yourself walking these halls already built, breathing air perfumed with tomorrow's success. Drift into slumber, knowing that while your conscious self sleeps, the silent builder labors ceaselessly, constructing the world you will inhabit when dawn arrives. There is no force more powerful than this nightly construction, for in sleep you surrender the defenses of doubt. Your mind softens like wax before a seal, ready to receive impressions that will harden into fate by morning. And here lies the truth, both frightening and freeing. You are never the victim of chance, but always the dreamer of design. The silent architect is impartial. It will build prison or palace, desert or garden, according to the patterns you supply. So tonight, step into your role not as a wanderer adrift in unconsciousness, but as master of design. For the architect awaits your word. What blueprint will you deliver? Chapter 2: The Twilight Threshold of Power. Between waking and sleeping lies a fragile bridge, a narrow passage where worlds overlap. The sages called it the Twilight Threshold, and they guarded its secret with the reverence of priests. For here, in this liminal state, your conscious will and your subconscious architect meet hand in hand. It is the single most fertile moment for shaping destiny. Think of twilight itself, the moment when sun and moon exchange crowns, when light and dark mingle in delicate balance. Just as the sky glows with hues neither day nor night, so too does your mind shimmer with unique receptivity. In this state, the barriers of reason soften, the inner critic grows hushed, and suggestion slips past the gatekeepers of logic into the holy archives of the subconscious. Lucian, a weary merchant, stumbled upon this secret not by study, but by despair. His days filled with failure, his nights with worry, he wandered to the riverbank at dusk. As his eyelids grew heavy, he whispered almost without thought, "May tomorrow be better." That night he dreamt of markets overflowing, of customers praising his craft, of coins raining like autumn leaves. He awoke not only refreshed but guided, making choices with unusual clarity. Within months his fortunes turned. The villagers marveled, but Lucian always remembered that twilight prayer. The ancients likened this threshold to a garden gate. Enter it with weeds of fear, and you seed nightmares that blossom as waking obstacles. Step through with blossoms of gratitude, and you awaken to orchards of abundance. The key lies in recognizing this passage, honoring it, and shaping your final thoughts before surrendering to sleep. Modern science offers confirmation. Brainwaves shift from beta, the rhythm of thought, to alpha, and then theta, the language of imagination and receptivity. In this descent, the subconscious stands open, like soil loosened for planting. Words and images impressed in this interval settle deep, bypassing resistance, taking root as living belief. To use this threshold, you must train awareness. As you prepare for bed, dim the lights, silence the noise of devices and conversation. Breathe deeply. Imagine the veil of day thinning, the fabric of reality loosening. Feel your body soften, but keep your mind gently awake. In this space, Speak your affirmations, not with strain, but with quiet authority. See the vision, feel the emotion, whisper it into the night as though the universe itself leans close to listen. The twilight threshold is fleeting but potent. Like a spark that ignites a flame, it carries disproportionate power. Treat it as ritual. Let no stray thought of worry cross this sacred bridge. Replace it with gratitude, vision, and trust. For what you plant here will echo not only through your dreams, but through your days. Chapter 3. Planting Seeds in the Subconscious Garden. Your subconscious is a garden vast beyond measure. Every night you become its gardener, whether knowingly or not. Thoughts are seeds, emotions are water, and repetition is sunlight. What you plant with care blooms as destiny. What you neglect grows as weeds that choke your path. Beatrice, a seamstress forgotten by history, carried this wisdom, though she never wrote it. Each evening she spoke her desires softly before bed. I stitch garments of joy, I weave threads of prosperity. At first nothing changed, but she continued, watering those seeds night after night. Soon customers arrived, her name spread, her craft blossomed into legend. To outsiders it was luck, to Beatrice it was harvest. The danger lies not in planting too little, but in planting carelessly. How many go to bed replaying arguments, nursing fears, cursing failures? These are seeds too, and the subconscious, impartial and fertile, makes no distinction. It grows what you give it. Plant despair, reap obstacles, plant gratitude, harvest miracles. The practice is ancient and simple. As night falls, close your eyes and see your mind as a field freshly tilled. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. On each exhale, imagine dropping a seed into the soil. One of health, one of love, one of abundance. Whisper them, I am whole, I am cherished, I am prosperous. Feel them sink into earth, safe beneath the stars. Add water through emotion. Do not speak your affirmations coldly, like commands to stone. Let them warm with gratitude, pulse with excitement, tremble with certainty. The subconscious responds not to empty words, but to living vibration. In time, you will awaken to find sprouts appearing in your life, unexpected opportunities, new relationships, sudden bursts of clarity. These are the shoots of seeds planted long ago. Tend them with care, continue nightly planting, and watch as your life transforms into a flourishing garden of destiny. Chapter 4. The Science of Sleep and the Secrets of Spirit. Science peers into sleep with machines, measuring brainwaves, tracking rhythms of the body, cataloging stages as though they were steps on a staircase. Spirit, however, has always gazed at sleep as a temple where unseen forces gather. Between these two perspectives lies the full truth. Sleep is both biology and mystery, both measurable electricity and unmeasurable energy. To understand this duality is to unlock the true secret of reprogramming your destiny. Your brain is never still. Even in deepest rest, it hums with patterns, waves of energy pulsing like tides. Beta waves dominate waking thought, sharp and fast like chattering birds. Alpha waves soften the mind into daydream and calm, a twilight of creativity. Theta waves, the slow rhythms of sleep and meditation, open the doors to the subconscious. Delta, deeper still, carries you into the realm of renewal, where the body repairs and the mind drifts in wordless silence. These rhythms are not accidents. They are sacred steps, each leading you deeper into the workshop of destiny. Ancient mystics lacked electrodes or machines, yet they observed the same truths. They saw the stages of sleep as veils, each one drawing you closer to the divine. The first veil was relaxation, the soft letting go. The second, surrender, when thought begins to loosen. The third, the sacred silence, when the self dissolves and the soul communes with unseen forces. Though they used the language of gods and spirits rather than neurons and neurotransmitters, their wisdom pointed to the same source. In the deeper states of sleep, resistance vanishes and the subconscious stands receptive. Imagine a craftsman working by day. The noise of the market distracts him. The demands of others pull his focus. But by night, alone in his quiet workshop, he shapes wood into beauty without interruption. So too, your subconscious crafts destiny most skillfully in sleep, when the chatter of consciousness has subsided. Here science and spirit agree. The mind is never idle, only shifting into different modes of creation. Consider the story of Julian, a physician centuries ago, who observed patients recovering faster when they held hopeful thoughts before bed. He noticed that those who prayed, visualized health, or whispered affirmations healed in ways others did not. Though medicine could not explain it, Julian wrote, "The night carries a healing not from herbs alone, but from thoughts entrusted to the silence." Today, researchers call it psychosomatic effect, yet the essence remains. What you believe before sleep influences what your body becomes. This dual nature of sleep invites you into practice. To honor the science, prepare your body. Dim lights, breathe deeply, reduce stimulation. Let your brain waves descend naturally like a river slowing after rain. To honor the spirit, prepare your mind. Infuse it with images and feelings of the life you desire. Offer them like sacred incense at the altar of the subconscious. The two together, science and spirit, become the twin keys unlocking transformation. You are not merely drifting into unconsciousness each night. You are stepping into a sacred workshop where neurons rewire, hormones balance, memories reshape, and spirit whispers guidance. The body sleeps, but the deeper self awakens. This is why dreams hold symbols that guide, why problems dissolve by morning, why inspiration strikes upon waking. Your subconscious and your soul are laboring together in silence, weaving tomorrow from threads you placed in their hands. So when you lie down tonight, remember, you are entering both laboratory and temple. You are both patient and priest, scientist and mystic. Sleep is not escape, but encounter, the sacred meeting place where spirit whispers and science obeys. And here lies the secret. Align the measurable and the immeasurable, and destiny itself bends to your will. Chapter 5. Why Night is the Strongest Magnet for Change. There is a reason the ancients revered the night as sacred, not simply because the body needs rest, but because night is the most powerful magnet for transformation. In the daylight, your conscious mind fights, doubts, analyzes. It resists change as a guard resists strangers at the gate. But in the soft descent into darkness, those guards grow weary and the gate stands open. This is why the night reshapes you faster than any practice of the day. Think of a seed planted in daylight. It sits exposed, vulnerable to heat and wind. But at night, beneath cool soil, it germinates unseen, safe in darkness. So too, your intentions. Spoken by day, they struggle against doubt. Planted at night, they grow silently, shielded from resistance. The story of Marcus, a baker once forgotten, reveals this truth. Burdened by fear, he watched his livelihood crumble. But one night, exhausted, he whispered gratitude and envisioned success before sleep. Night after night, he repeated it. The change was not sudden, but inevitable. Customers returned, opportunities multiplied. His hands seemed guided with new skill. It was not his bakery that transformed. It was the magnet of his nightly mind, drawing reality into alignment. Why does night carry such magnetism? Because consciousness is quiet. When logic rests, imagination rules. When fear dissolves, faith rises. The subconscious becomes like iron before a lodestone, highly receptive, ready to align with whatever energy it encounters. If you flood it with despair, it attracts misfortune. If you feed it with gratitude, abundance follows. This is why sages warned never to fall asleep in anger or fear. For those emotions are seeds, too, magnetic in their pull. One sleepless night of worry may seem harmless, but repeated, it becomes a curse disguised as habit. On the other hand, one ritual of gratitude repeated nightly becomes a magnet of miracles. The practice is simple yet sacred. As you prepare for sleep, choose your final thoughts as though they were gifts sealed in envelopes and handed to the universe. Whisper them, feel them, release them. Say, I attract love. I draw success. I embody health. Let these be the last vibrations your subconscious receives, for they will continue humming through the night like tuning forks calling matching realities toward you. The magnet of night does not discriminate. It will amplify whatever you place within its field. Your choice, then, is whether to allow stray worries to occupy that space or to plant carefully crafted visions that align with your soul. Remember, the darkness does not diminish you. It is your ally. The night is not emptiness, but fertile soil, humming with unseen magnetism, waiting for your command. Chapter 6. The Language of Suggestion. The subconscious does not speak in the way your waking mind does. It is not persuaded by long arguments, nor does it respond to doubt. It understands the language of suggestion, simple, direct, repeated impression delivered with emotion. To learn this language is to converse with the silent architect itself. Children intuitively know this. A lullaby whispered before bed plants comfort in their hearts. A mother's soft assurance, "You are safe," becomes truth, woven into their dreams. The subconscious accepts without question, taking suggestion as fact. What is repeated becomes reality, whether it serves you or not. This is why careless words can harm. A person who tells themselves nightly, "I always fail, I am unlucky," is writing commandments in the subconscious. The architect obeys, constructing futures that match. But one who whispers, "I am worthy, I am guided, I succeed," rewrites the blueprint with sacred ink. In the desert city of Kalira lived a scribe named Tomel. Each night, though weary from copying scrolls, he would speak aloud a single phrase, "My words carry power." At first, nothing shifted. But as moons passed, he noticed people sought him not for copying, but for counsel. His simple phrase had become reality, his words now revered by all who heard them. Such is the power of suggestion, patient and persistent. The rules of this language are ancient yet clear. Speak in the present tense as though already true. Say, "I am prosperous," not "I will be prosperous." The subconscious does not understand delay. It accepts only what is declared now. Speak with feeling, for emotion is ink. Cold words fade, burning words endure, and repeat nightly, for repetition carves grooves in the mind until belief flows naturally along them. Suggestion is not about force, but about resonance. Whisper your phrases softly as you drift into sleep, letting them settle into the fertile soil of twilight consciousness. Combine them with vision. See, hear, and feel the reality you suggest. In time, the subconscious will accept them as truth, and life will bend to match. This language is available to all, but few take it seriously. They mutter affirmations by day without emotion, then fall asleep replaying doubts. Their results reflect their carelessness. But you are not careless. You are awakening to the sacred art. Tonight, when silence surrounds you, remember the language of suggestion. Speak with certainty, with warmth, with faith. Let your words be seeds, your emotions the rain, your repetition the sun, and trust that the garden of your destiny will bloom in perfect season. Chapter 7. Gratitude as the Gateway Frequency. Gratitude is the master key that unlocks doors most believed to be locked forever. It is not simply a polite acknowledgement of blessings. It is a frequency, a resonance that aligns your entire being with abundance. Those who sleep in gratitude carry into the night a vibration so high, so luminous, that the subconscious becomes like a field tilled and watered, ready to receive any seed you choose to plant. Gratitude is the gateway frequency, and night is when its power multiplies. Consider a farmer at the end of a long season. His hands are worn, his back bent, his harvest uncertain. Yet he stands before his field and says, "Thank you for the crops, yet unseen." To the world, this looks foolish, but to the field itself, it is an invocation. Gratitude calls forth life where none appears, because it signals trust in abundance already present. The subconscious works in the same way. It hears your gratitude not as wishful thinking, but as truth, and it reorganizes reality to match. Clara, a weaver who lived in a fog-covered village by the sea, once carried despair heavier than the stone walls of her home. She longed for prosperity but went to sleep each night lamenting scarcity. Her dreams mirrored her days, gray, endless, empty. Then one evening, guided by a traveling mystic, she began a new ritual. Before sleep, no matter her pain, she whispered 3 simple thank yous. I am thankful for my breath. I am thankful for the roof above me. I am thankful for the chance of tomorrow. Slowly her nights softened. Her dreams brightened, and within a year her weaving gained recognition far beyond her village. Traders arrived, prosperity flowed. She often told others, "Gratitude is the loom that wove my destiny." Why does gratitude hold such force? Because it leaves no space for lack. You cannot focus on absence while thanking for presence, and what you focus upon expands. When you sleep with gratitude, your subconscious interprets abundance as already true, aligning all hidden mechanisms, intuition, action, attraction, to deliver more of what is acknowledged. To practice this gateway frequency, prepare before bed. Sit quietly in dim light. Place your hand upon your heart and recall 3 moments of your day, no matter how small, that brought warmth. Perhaps a smile from a stranger, the taste of bread, the sound of rain. Let these expand until you feel your chest glowing with thankfulness. Speak them aloud if you can, whisper them if you must, but let the words resonate with sincerity. Then carry this feeling into sleep, like a lantern, illuminating the corridors of your subconscious. The night multiplies what you carry into it. Worry grows into nightmare. Anger hardens into resistance. But gratitude blossoms into miracles. It is the frequency that tells the universe, I am already rich. I am already loved. I am already whole. And the universe, faithful and exact, echoes back, so it is. When you awaken from such nights, the world will look subtly different. Opportunities will appear where walls once stood. Relationships will soften. Health will improve. The shift begins not in the outer world, but within, in the vibration of thankfulness, carried through the fertile darkness of sleep. Gratitude is not accessory. It is foundation, the gateway through which all other practices find power. Chapter 8. Affirmations that bypass resistance. Words are spells. They carry shape, rhythm, and frequency that penetrate far deeper than most realize. Yet not all words reach the subconscious. Some bounce off like arrows striking stone, blocked by the sentinels of doubt. This is why so many who repeat affirmations by day feel no change. Their conscious mind interrupts, arguing, dismissing, scoffing, but there is a way to bypass this resistance. The night provides the passage. When the body relaxes and the mind drifts toward slumber, the conscious guards lower their spears. In this state, affirmations slip past unhindered, planting themselves directly into the fertile soil of the subconscious. They are accepted not as possibilities but as truths. This is why the moments before sleep are the most powerful for affirmations, stronger than hours of daytime repetition. Elias, a merchant whose debts weighed heavier than his than his purse, discovered this secret when his elder brother advised him, "Stop speaking your failures by day, start whispering your wealth by night." Skeptical yet desperate, Elias began each evening by saying, "I am prosperous. I am free. My wealth flows to me with ease." At first, his conscious mind mocked him, but as drowsiness wrapped around his thoughts, resistance dissolved. Within weeks, he noticed subtle changes. Deals once elusive appeared easily. Debts cleared. New ventures thrived. He later said, "It was not the words themselves, but the way I spoke them into sleep that turned fate." To bypass resistance, the phrasing of affirmations matters. Speak in present tense, as though the reality is already yours. Avoid the future, for the subconscious knows only the now. Say, "I am loved," not "I will be loved." Say, "I am healthy," not "I will heal." The subconscious, impartial and obedient, accepts the declaration as fact and organizes your reality accordingly. Tone matters too. Whisper softly, with warmth, as if singing a lullaby to your inner self. Force creates tension. Gentleness creates openness. Combine each phrase with breath. Inhale possibility. Exhale certainty. Let your voice trail into silence as sleep takes you, ensuring the final impressions your mind holds are those of power, joy, and truth. Pair words with images. As you affirm, visualize yourself already living the reality. Feel the emotions, hear the sounds, see the colors. This multi-sensory suggestion engraves itself more deeply into the subconscious. Affirmations are not empty words. They are scripts for your destiny. The more vividly you deliver them, the more faithfully they manifest. Remember, the night is not passive. It is active, alive, responsive. Each word spoken in the twilight before sleep is a stone laid in the architecture of your tomorrow. Use affirmations not as desperate cries, but as sacred commands, bypassing resistance, programming the silent architect, and shaping reality itself. Chapter 9. The Mirror of Midnight. Self-Identity. Reset. Every life is shaped not by what happens to us, but by who we believe ourselves to be. Self-identity is the core script from which all other patterns flow. You cannot manifest abundance if you see yourself as poor. You cannot draw love if you see yourself as unworthy. To reset identity is to reset destiny, and night, especially the moment of midnight reflection, is the most potent time to do it. In an old coastal town lived Vivian, whose reflection had long been her harshest critic. Each night she faced her mirror only to list flaws, deepening her sense of unworthiness. Her days mirrored her nights. Relationships failed. Opportunities slipped away. Joy seemed distant. But her grandmother whispered wisdom. Look at yourself in candlelight before sleep, and speak not your flaws, but your truths. Reluctantly, Vivian began, I honor my journey. I embrace my beauty. I am enough. At first her voice trembled, but with time, her eyes softened, her posture changed. Soon her life shifted, friends multiplied, suitors arrived, her own artistry blossomed. She discovered the mirror was never enemy, but portal. The mirror of midnight practice is simple yet profound. Before bed, stand in soft light before your reflection. Look deeply into your eyes, not at the surface features, but into the eternal spark within. Speak 3 affirmations of identity. I am worthy. I am powerful. I am love. Let each resonate. As you say them, feel the old masks dissolve, the false stories fall away. Replace them with the identity you choose. This is not vanity, it is alchemy. The subconscious accepts the image you hold of yourself as the baseline of reality. If that image is broken, life mirrors brokenness. If that image is whole, life mirrors wholeness. By using midnight reflection, you deliver new identity directly to the subconscious as it prepares to dream. Combine this with touch. Place your hand upon your heart. feeling the steady rhythm as you declare your truth. Close your ritual by whispering softly, "I am the dreamer of my destiny." Then drift into sleep, carrying this renewed identity. In time, the world will change around you, not because fate suddenly became kind, but because you became aligned. The mirror of midnight does not just show who you are, it shows who you are becoming. And the subconscious, ever faithful, will shape your destiny to match. Chapter 10: The Stairway of Descent, Guided Inner Journeys. There exists within every soul a hidden staircase, spiraling downward into chambers rarely explored. By day it remains obscured, crowded out by the noise of thought, by lists and duties and endless distractions. But by night, when the body softens and the mind loosens its grip, the staircase reveals itself in golden light. Those who learn to descend with intention enter a place where the subconscious lies, bare and malleable, ready to receive the imprints of destiny. Edith, a weaver of fine tapestries, knew this well. When her loom stood silent and her inspiration fled, she did not search for teachers or books. Instead, she turned inward. Each night she closed her eyes and imagined a great stairway appearing before her, carved of radiant light. With each breath, she took a step downward, counting slowly from 10 to 1. At 10, her thoughts quieted. At 7, her body grew heavy. At 4, she felt as though the world dissolved around her. And at 1, she stood in a tranquil garden bathed in soft glow. Here she found renewal. Here she planted visions. Within weeks, her artistry returned, flowing more richly than ever before. She later whispered to her apprentices, "The staircase is real, though no eye but the inner one can see it." The subconscious mind thrives on symbols, and the act of descending mirrors the process of relaxation and surrender. As you count backward, each number lowers the defenses of the conscious mind, each imagined step carrying you deeper into fertile soil. Once you reach the bottom, the landscape you create becomes the workshop of your destiny. Some find themselves in gardens, others in temples, still others in vast open fields. Whatever form it takes, the sacred space is yours, crafted by your intention. In this inner sanctuary, you must plant with care, speak affirmations as though you are sowing seeds into waiting soil. I am guided, I am abundant, I am whole. Visualize the seeds glowing as they sink into earth, their light spreading through the ground until the entire space hums with possibility. Your subconscious will accept these impressions without resistance, weaving them into the architecture of your life. The practice requires patience. Some nights you may descend only a few steps before sleep overtakes you. Other nights you may explore entire landscapes. Trust both. The subconscious receives regardless of how long you linger, for even the act of descending signals readiness. Over time, the staircase becomes familiar, its steps quick to appear, your descent smooth and effortless. Archibald, a merchant consumed by worry, paired his breath with the stairway. He would inhale peace and exhale tension, counting backward from 10 with each breath. At the bottom, he always found himself in a quiet garden, where he released anxious thoughts into a flowing stream. As weeks passed, his mind grew lighter, his choices clearer, his fortunes steadier. He realized his nights of descent were not escape, but renewal, each dream carrying seeds of confidence into his waking life. The staircase of descent is both ritual and metaphor, a way of aligning body, mind, and spirit. It teaches surrender, yet empowers creation. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, close your eyes and see the steps forming in golden light. Count backward slowly. Feel yourself sinking deeper with each number, the weight of the day melting away. At 1, you arrive in your sacred space. There, plant your intentions with reverence. Trust that as you rest, the subconscious will water and nurture them until they emerge as reality. For the staircase does not descend into emptiness. It descends into the heart of your destiny. Chapter 11. The Time Traveler's Sleep Chamber. Time, as you know it by day, is a river flowing forward, each moment replaced by the next. But within sleep, time is not a river at all. It is an ocean, vast and simultaneous, every possibility existing at once. To step into this ocean is to become a traveler, able to touch both past and future, to draw wisdom across the boundaries that waking minds believe unbreakable. Florence, a seamstress whose days were filled with toil, discovered this one night in a vision. As she drifted into slumber, she found herself walking through a shimmering doorway of light. On the other side stood a radiant version of herself, older yet filled with grace and wisdom. This future, Florence embraced her, whispered guidance, and offered insights about choices she had not yet faced. When she awoke, she followed those instructions and found her life unfolding in harmony, as though destiny itself had been rewritten by the counsel of her future self. This chamber of timelessness exists for you as well. The subconscious mind is not bound by the rules of linear hours or days. It can recall memories from decades past with vivid clarity, and it can reach forward to glimpse the echoes of who you are becoming. When you learn to enter the sleep chamber with intention, you can gather wisdom from future selves who have already lived the life you desire. The practice begins with clarity. Before sleep, close your eyes and imagine a corridor of golden light stretching before you. At the end of this corridor stands a door, shimmering with possibility. Whisper your intention. I seek counsel from my future self. Walk toward the door and open it. Step through with reverence. On the other side, see the version of you who has already manifested your desires. Perhaps they are wealthy. Perhaps they are in radiant health. Perhaps they radiate peace. Observe them closely. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What light shines from their eyes? Ask 3 questions. Keep them simple, clear, and heartfelt. For example, what path should I choose now? What must I release? What truth must I embody? Listen not only for words, but for feelings, images, or impressions. The subconscious speaks in many languages. Trust that the wisdom offered will reach you in the way you most need. Humphrey, a struggling merchant, practiced this nightly. He asked his future self how to navigate failing ventures. In dreams, he met a version of himself already thriving, who revealed market strategies and new alliances. Though his waking mind could never have imagined them, these insights proved true. He followed them, and his fortunes grew. He later said, "My future saved me." Time is fluid in sleep. Past wounds can be healed by reimagining them. Future paths can be illuminated by glimpsing what awaits. The chamber is not fantasy, but a meeting place within the quantum field of all possibilities. When you step into it, you are not inventing. You are aligning with versions of yourself already real. Each night, set the intention to enter. Visualize the corridor, the door, the radiant self beyond it. Carry this vision into slumber. Some nights you will walk through, other nights you may simply sense presence. Trust both. With practice, the guidance will grow clearer, the connection stronger. For within the time traveler's chamber, you discover the truth. Destiny is not fixed. It is written and rewritten across timelines, and you hold the pen. Chapter 12. The Celestial Council Chamber. Beyond the borders of individual consciousness lies a realm vast and luminous where wisdom flows not from oneself, but from many. The ancients called it the Celestial Council, a gathering of beings who whisper guidance to those prepared to listen. During waking hours, the noise of the world drowns out their voices. But at night, when the mind grows quiet and the heart softens, the chamber opens. Those who enter discover they are never alone, but always surrounded by helpers unseen. Cordelia, a humble teacher, first encountered this chamber during nights of despair. Alone in her bed, she whispered for guidance. As she drifted into slumber, she found herself standing within a vast hall made of starlight. Around her sat figures glowing with radiance, their eyes filled with compassion. They offered her words of encouragement, solutions to problems, even visions of paths she had never considered. When she awoke, her life seemed infused with clarity. She told her students, "I did not think alone. I listened to a choir of stars." This chamber is not reserved for mystics or prophets. It is available to any who enter asleep with open hearts and sincere requests. The subconscious, when freed from the chatter of thought, naturally resonates with universal wisdom. Like a radio tuned to a higher frequency, it receives signals from realms beyond personal awareness. Some call them guides, some ancestors, some angels. The names matter little. What matters is the recognition that you are supported by intelligences beyond measure. Pearl, a widower consumed by grief, discovered this truth in his darkest nights. Instead of resisting his sorrow, he surrendered to it and asked aloud, "Show me the way." That night he dreamed of his wife, radiant and peaceful, who guided him toward new purpose. Whether she was memory, spirit, or symbol mattered not. The wisdom was real, and it changed his life. To enter the council chamber, prepare yourself before sleep. Sit quietly, breathing deeply until your body relaxes. Visualize a spiral staircase of light rising upward. Climb it in your mind until you reach a grand chamber, glowing with celestial brilliance. Around you sit beings of wisdom, their presence gentle yet immense. Speak to them as you would to trusted elders. Share your questions, your fears, your hopes, then release the need for immediate response. Trust that the answers will come in dreams, in symbols, in sudden clarity upon waking. The universe speaks in many tongues, a conversation overheard, a passage in a book, a symbol in a dream. When you connect with the council chamber, you become attuned to these languages, recognizing guidance that was always present but previously unnoticed. The key is trust. Doubt closes the chamber, openness reveals it. Gratitude strengthens the connection. As you awaken, record any impressions that linger, no matter how faint. Over time, you will see patterns, threads of wisdom weaving through your nights. The celestial council chamber reminds you that you are part of something vast. You are not a solitary traveler, but a participant in a greater symphony of guidance. Each night, when you surrender to sleep, you step into this luminous hall, and there, among beings of wisdom, your destiny is shaped not alone, but with the counsel of the stars themselves. Chapter 13. The Memory Palace of Dreams. The ancients knew that memory was not a passive storehouse, but a living architecture, a palace of halls and chambers within the mind. To them, memory was not simply recall, it was creation. What was stored in the palace could be rearranged, expanded, and transformed until it shaped reality itself. In sleep, this palace opens, and you are free to walk its halls with full creative power. Here lies a secret. What you build in your memory palace becomes blueprint for your waking destiny. Gertrude, a teacher who yearned for greater impact, discovered this truth one weary night. As she drifted into drowsiness, she imagined a grand hall lined with glowing torches. Within each chamber of this hall, she placed scenes of the future she longed to experience. Students thriving, wisdom flowing from her lips, joy filling the room like music. Night after night, she revisited her palace, adding details: the smell of ink, the sound of laughter, the weight of books in her hands. Within months, her classes shifted. Students who once slept through lessons began to awaken with eagerness. Parents praised her, and the school flourished. She later confided to a friend, "I walked in dreams through halls that later became my life." The subconscious accepts vivid imagery as truth. It does not distinguish between memory of past or vision of future. Both are recorded as experience. When you consciously construct a palace of dreams, filling it with your desires, the subconscious begins reshaping your actions, beliefs, and opportunities to match. It is as though you create a sacred map, and life itself reconfigures to follow it. To begin, close your eyes before sleep and imagine standing before a magnificent palace. Its entrance may be marble, wood, or starlight. Let it appear as it will. Step through its doors into the entrance hall. This is the chamber of your overarching vision, the place that represents your highest destiny. See it filled with symbols of abundance, peace, and fulfillment. Then begin creating side chambers for specific aspects of your life. One for prosperity, one for relationships, one for health, one for purpose. Populate each chamber with vivid sensory details. In your prosperity room, perhaps there are shelves stacked with golden coins, contracts signed, or thriving shops bustling with trade. In your relationship chamber, imagine shared laughter, embraces, meals with loved ones. For health, see yourself running with vigor, breathing deeply, glowing with vitality. Let these rooms feel real, alive, tangible. The ritual is to walk through your palace nightly before sleep. Each time you enter, reinforce the details, polish them, expand them. Touch the walls, breathe in the air, hear the sounds. Over time, this palace becomes so familiar that your subconscious accepts it as lived experience. And because your subconscious shapes your actions, emotions, and perceptions, your outer world gradually aligns with this inner architecture. Leopold, a struggling architect, applied this with precision. Each evening he built a dream mansion filled with models of his future projects, awards on shelves, clients shaking his hand. As months passed, opportunities flowed to him, as though the world had caught up to the reality he had already built in his palace. "I designed my destiny as carefully as I designed my buildings," he said. The memory palace of dreams is not fantasy. It is preparation. It is a rehearsal so real that the subconscious cannot help but manifest it. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, walk through your palace with reverence. Know that each room you create is a chamber of tomorrow waiting to be lived. Chapter 14. The Emotional Alchemy Laboratory. Emotions are not accidents. They are energies, raw and potent, carrying frequencies that shape your life. Joy uplifts, fear contracts, grief weighs, gratitude expands. Most people are enslaved by their emotions, pushed and pulled by them as ships by the tide. But the wise know another truth. Emotions can be transformed. The night is the most powerful time for this transmutation, for the subconscious accepts whatever energy you hand it as fuel for creation. If you enter sleep heavy with fear, it multiplies. If you enter sleep having transmuted fear into faith, the same energy builds your destiny. This is emotional alchemy, the art of turning the lead of suffering into the gold of manifestation. Penelope, a potter whose business collapsed, carried shame and disappointment like weights upon her chest. Each night she lay awake replaying her failures, and each day her despair deepened. Then one evening she remembered her grandmother's wisdom. Do not push sorrow away. Hold it in your hands and breathe it into light. That night she sat on her bed and acknowledged her grief. She named it, felt it fully, then imagined it transforming into golden light with each breath. She whispered, "This pain becomes power. This fear becomes freedom." As weeks passed, she noticed subtle shifts. Her despair softened, her creativity returned. Soon her pottery thrived again, but with a new depth, as though her sorrow had been transmuted into beauty. The subconscious does not reject energy. It works with whatever is provided. Anger, grief, fear, they are not enemies, but raw materials. Like clay, they can be reshaped. Like fire, they can burn or warm, depending on your direction. When you practice emotional alchemy before sleep, you take control of these energies, transforming them into fuel for your dreams. The practice begins with awareness. Sit quietly before bed and allow your emotions to rise. Do not judge or suppress them. If fear emerges, feel its tremor. If sadness arises, let the tears flow. Then begin the alchemy. Breathe deeply and visualize each feeling as energy, perhaps as colored smoke, perhaps as liquid, perhaps as fire. On each inhale, draw it gently into your awareness. On each exhale, see it shift into golden light. Whisper softly, this becomes love. This becomes strength. This becomes power. Reginald, a widower, discovered this during his grief. Each night he gathered his sorrow as though collecting stones. Instead of rejecting them, he imagined them glowing brighter with each breath until they turned to gems. In dreams, he felt peace, and in waking life, he discovered compassion he had never known, a strength that touched everyone he met. His grief became the soil for wisdom. Emotional alchemy works because the subconscious records the final state you carry into sleep. If you transmute fear into love before surrendering, the subconscious imprints love. If you transmute anger into power, the subconscious builds power. You are not discarding your emotions, you are refining them into gold. The laboratory exists within you every night. All that is required is intention. Gather the raw materials of your day, place them upon the altar of your breath, and transform them before entering sleep. In this way, even suffering becomes sacred fuel, carrying you toward a destiny of strength, compassion, and abundance. Chapter 15, The Quantum Field Navigator. Beyond the visible world lies the quantum field, an ocean of infinite possibilities where every outcome exists simultaneously. Science hints at it, mystics describe it, and dreamers navigate it nightly without knowing. The quantum field is not bound by the laws of time or space. In it, every choice, every version of you, already exists. When you sleep, you enter this ocean unconsciously. But when you learn to navigate it intentionally, you can align with the timeline you most desire. Oilia, a seeker who spent her evenings in meditation, discovered this when she stumbled upon an ancient scroll. It spoke of threads of light stretching through infinity, each thread a possible destiny. That night she envisioned herself floating in this field, surrounded by shimmering strands. She reached for the golden thread that pulsed most brightly, feeling it vibrate with resonance. As she slept, she held it. In the weeks that followed, opportunities emerged that aligned perfectly with the life she had chosen. She later told her companions, "I did not find my destiny, I tuned to it." Your subconscious already interacts with the quantum field, for dreams often show alternate realities, paths not taken, versions of yourself unfamiliar yet strangely true. These are glimpses of parallel possibilities. When you practice quantum navigation, you do more than glimpse, you choose. The ritual is simple yet profound. Before bed, close your eyes and imagine yourself floating in infinite space. Around you stretch threads of light, each one a timeline. Some glow faintly, some brightly. Whisper your intention. I align with the thread of my highest destiny. Then reach out with your inner hand and grasp the one that feels alive, that hums with recognition. Imagine merging with it, feeling its vibration spread through your body. Carry this sensation into sleep, trusting your subconscious to anchor it. Barnaby, a clockmaker facing a critical decision, practiced this nightly. In dreams, he explored alternate versions of his life, one where he stayed in his village, one where he traveled, one where he expanded his craft into great cities. He felt the resonance of each and chose the path that aligned most with joy. His decision proved wise, leading to prosperity beyond his imagining. The quantum field responds to clarity. It does not require force, only intention and resonance. When you align with a timeline, you shift the energy of your being to match it. Life then unfolds to reflect that choice. This is not fantasy, it is navigation. Each night you are already adrift in this infinite ocean. The difference is awareness. With awareness, you become a navigator, a dreamer steering toward chosen shores. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, envision the field, see the infinite threads, reach for the one that glows with truth, hold it gently, surrender to it, and allow your subconscious to anchor you in its reality. When you awaken, watch how the world begins to rearrange itself, not by chance, but by choice. For you are no longer a passenger of fate. You are the navigator of the quantum field. Chapter 16, The Soul Symphony Conductor. The universe itself is music. Every star vibrates, every atom hums, every heartbeat carries rhythm. Sound is the primal force through which all was spoken into being, and your soul is no exception. It resonates like an instrument tuned to cosmic frequencies. By day, the noise of life drowns out this music, but by night, when silence settles, your soul becomes exquisitely receptive to sound. Sleep is the concert hall, and the subconscious is the audience that listens without resistance. When you learn to conduct this symphony with intention, you summon forces that reshape destiny itself. Imogene, a seeker in a mountain monastery, stumbled upon this truth. She studied ancient texts that spoke of tones capable of healing and transforming. That night she experimented, chanting softly in the candlelit darkness before surrendering to sleep. The vibrations filled her chamber, and she felt her body humming in response. As she drifted away, she imagined the sounds weaving into her subconscious like golden threads. In the days that followed, she noticed profound changes. Her heart grew lighter, her clarity sharper, her dreams brighter. Soon others came to her not for words, but for her voice itself, which seemed to carry healing frequencies. The subconscious responds to vibration more deeply than it does to logic. A spoken affirmation may be dismissed by the conscious mind, but when that same phrase is sung or whispered with rhythm, it bypasses resistance. Music engages the entire being, heart, breath, and body. This is why lullabies calm infants, why chants open minds, why certain tones can soothe even the most restless soul. To become the conductor of your soul's symphony, begin with intention. Before sleep, choose a sound that resonates with your desire. For abundance, a tone of steady warmth. For healing, a gentle hum. For love, a whisper that vibrates through your chest. Speak or sing your affirmation aloud, letting it ride on sound waves. I am abundant. I am whole. I am love. Feel the vibration ripple through your body, carrying your words deeper than thought alone could reach. Cornelius, a musician weary of disappointment, discovered this practice when he began composing melodies aligned with frequencies of intention. At night he played softly, filling his space with tones at 528 hertz, the so-called miracle frequency. As he slept, the vibrations enveloped him like an invisible cloak. Within weeks, his life shifted, his studio flourished, his health improved, his fortunes multiplied. He said later, "I did not just play music, I let music play me into my destiny." The ritual can be as simple as humming while lying in bed, feeling the resonance through your bones, or as elaborate as creating entire soundscapes. What matters is sincerity. The subconscious accepts vibration without question. Even in silence, you can imagine tones washing over you, aligning your inner world with the outer reality you seek. Each night, you are both listener and conductor. You summon the tones, you direct their flow, you allow them to resonate within. Trust that as you drift into sleep, the frequencies continue their work, retuning your being, harmonizing your subconscious with your desires. For destiny, like music, is shaped by resonance. Conduct your soul's symphony and watch as the universe itself begins to sing in harmony with Yayu. Chapter 17, The Ancestral Wisdom Keeper. Beneath your skin lies a story older than you, written not in ink but in blood, carried in the double helix of your DNA. You are not a solitary being, but the continuation of countless generations, each leaving whispers within your cells. Some of those whispers are wounds, patterns of scarcity, fear, or silence, passed down unseen. Others are treasures, strength, resilience, vision waiting to be remembered. In sleep, the boundary between you and your ancestors thins. Here, in the twilight, you can meet the wisdom keepers of your lineage, heal their pain, and claim their gifts as your own. Winterfred, a woman burdened by financial struggle, sensed this truth. She realized her fears of poverty were not fully her own, but echoes of generations past. Each night she created a ritual. She placed a candle beside her bed and whispered, "Wise ones of my blood, guide me." In dreams, her grandmother appeared, showing her visions of resilience during famine, of courage in the face of hardship. Winterfred awoke with new strength, and soon her life shifted. Prosperity blossomed where once there was only lack. She often said, "I did not walk alone. I walked with every ancestor within me." Epigenetics now confirms what mystics always knew. Experiences of trauma and triumph echo through generations, shaping not just bodies but minds. The subconscious holds these inherited patterns, but it also holds the key to transforming them. When you enter sleep with intention, you can access this ancestral library, choosing to dissolve what no longer serves and amplify what empowers. The practice is simple yet profound. Before bed, create a small altar, a photograph, an heirloom, or even just a symbol of your roots. Sit quietly and visualize a golden cord stretching from your heart back through time, connecting you to all who came before. Whisper your request. I call upon your wisdom. Share your gifts. Heal what needs healing. Then surrender to sleep, trusting that your dreams will carry messages from beyond. Ezekiel, a craftsman who felt blocked by invisible ceilings, discovered this ritual. In his dreams, he met his great-grandfather, a man of immense skill whose legacy had been forgotten. The dream did not give him tools, but it gave him confidence. He awoke with inspiration, his craft flourished, and the pattern of scarcity dissolved. "It was not I who remembered," he said, "but the blood that remembered for me." You are not only yourself, you are the living voice of your lineage. In sleep, you become the bridge between past and future, healing ancient wounds and carrying forward timeless strength. Tonight, as you prepare for bed, remember, you do not dream alone. You dream with an entire lineage standing behind you, cheering you forward. Honor them, call upon them, and trust that their wisdom flows in your veins, waiting to awaken. Chapter 18. The Crystal Cave of Consciousness. Throughout time, seekers have known that the earth itself carries memory. Crystals formed in darkness over millennia are more than stones. They are living resonators, amplifying intention, holding energy, and broadcasting frequency. By day, their beauty delights, but by night, their true power awakens. When placed near you as you sleep, they become silent companions, shaping the vibrations of your subconscious and magnifying your manifestations. Minerva, a healer, felt an unusual pull toward crystals. She placed a clear quartz beneath her pillow, whispering her desires into it before drifting to sleep. Within weeks, her life began to shift with uncanny precision. Opportunities aligned, relationships deepened, health flourished. She later explained, "The crystal did not create for me. It reminded my subconscious what it already knew to build." The power of crystals lies in their structure. Their molecular arrangements resonate at steady frequencies, acting as anchors for energy. When you hold one, you impress it with intention. When you sleep with it, it broadcasts that intention back to your subconscious all night long. The result is a loop of manifestation. a steady echo reinforcing your desires until they take root. Thaddeus, seeking a new home, arranged crystals in sacred geometry around his bed, amethyst for vision at his head, citrine for prosperity at his feet, rose quartz at his heart. Each night he activated the grid by speaking his desires. Within 3 months, he moved into a house surpassing his dreams. "I slept within a temple of my own making," he said. To practice, choose crystals that resonate with your goals. Quartz for clarity, citrine for abundance, amethyst for intuition, rose quartz for love. Cleanse them with smoke or water. Hold them before sleep, breathing your desires into them as though filling them with light. Place them under your pillow, beside your bed, or arranged in patterns. As you rest, imagine them glowing, radiating your intentions into your subconscious. The cave of consciousness is symbolic as well as physical. When you sleep, imagine entering a vast crystalline cavern, walls glittering with light. Each crystal amplifies your desires, reflecting them infinitely until your subconscious cannot help but accept them. Rest in this luminous chamber and awaken knowing that the night has carried your wishes into the fabric of reality. Crystals are not mere stones, they are allies. They anchor your intentions, magnify your energy, and create resonance between your subconscious and the universe. Tonight, when you prepare for sleep, choose your crystal, whisper your desire and surrender. Trust that the cave of consciousness surrounds you, amplifying your voice until the cosmos itself vibrates with your chosen destiny. Chapter 19. The Parallel Life Explorer. Every night, as you drift into slumber, the boundaries of your reality soften. You believe yourself to be one person, living one life, walking one path. But beyond the veil, there exist countless versions of you, each exploring a different possibility. The multiverse is not theory within dreams, it is experience. To step into sleep consciously is to become an explorer of these parallel lives, harvesting their wisdom and choosing which version of yourself you wish to anchor into your waking world. Josephine, a quiet woman who longed to write her novel, felt paralyzed by self-doubt. Each day she sat before a blank page, the words refusing to come. One night, as she teetered on the edge of dreams, she imagined a vast hallway lined with mirrors. In each reflection stood a different version of herself, one who had already published, one who taught packed workshops, one who traveled the world sharing her stories. She chose one reflection, stepping through the mirror as though it were a doorway. In the dream that followed, she lived her life as that successful version, feeling the pride, the confidence, the flow of words. When she awoke, she carried that energy with her. Slowly, she began writing. Within a year, the book existed, not just in dreams, but in her waking hands. The subconscious does not separate real from imagined. Experiences lived in parallel dreams are recorded in the same way as waking events, carving new pathways, strengthening new identities. This is the gift of the Parallel Life Explorer. You may borrow strength from a version of you who has already triumphed. You may embody their wisdom. You may merge with their energy until it becomes your own. The practice is deliberate. Before sleep, lie quietly and set the intention, "Tonight I explore my parallel selves. I meet the version of me who has already achieved what I desire." Visualize yourself entering a great circular room surrounded by mirrors. Approach one mirror that glows with recognition, showing a self who has accomplished what you seek. Step through it. Feel yourself merging with this version. What do they know? How do they move? What do they feel? Let your dream continue from there. Augustus, a merchant whose shop teetered on collapse, did this nightly. He met versions of himself who had already navigated crises, who had already succeeded. They whispered strategies, offered reassurance, revealed possibilities. He awakened with clarity and courage, applying their wisdom until his business transformed. I did not imagine my success, he told others. I borrowed it from myself. The truth is profound. You are infinite. Every choice, every dream creates branches. By entering sleep consciously, you may explore these branches, choosing not to live by default, but to align with the self who has already walked the path you crave. Night is the passage, and mirrors are the portals. Step through them and claim the wisdom that waits. Chapter 20, The Sacred Script. Writer. Stories are the oldest form of creation. Long before science, long before history, humanity shaped reality through tales told around firelight. Stories are not just entertainment, they are spells. What you tell yourself becomes the script your subconscious follows, and what the subconscious follows becomes the stage upon which you live. Most people unknowingly tell stories of limitation, repeating them until they harden into fate. But the sacred ones knew a greater power. To write destiny as narrative and read it to the subconscious at night when it is most impressionable. Prudence, a woman who lived in a misty valley, discovered this by accident. Each night she journaled before bed, not about the past, but about the life she longed to live. She wrote in present tense as if already true. Today I walked into my thriving shop. Customers smiled. My work touched lives. I feel fulfilled. She read these words aloud softly before blowing out her candle and drifting to sleep. Within months, her life began to mirror her pages. The stories she whispered to her subconscious became the blueprint of her reality. The subconscious thrives on narrative. It is moved not by scattered wishes, but by coherent storylines rich with sensory detail. By crafting your desired life as a tale and repeating it nightly, you program the subconscious with a script it cannot resist following. The ritual begins with writing. Take a journal reserved only for destiny. Each evening, compose a detailed scene of your ideal life. Describe what you see, what you hear, what you touch, what you feel. Speak in first person, present tense. I am, not I will be. Make it alive. Then, before sleep, read it aloud slowly, letting each word soak into your being. Close your eyes, replay the scene in your mind, and drift into slumber with the story still unfolding. Phineas, a humble shopkeeper, embraced this practice. Instead of lamenting his struggles, he wrote elaborate scripts of abundance, mentorship, and success. Each night he spoke them into the darkness. Within a year, opportunities aligned so perfectly, it seemed as though life itself had read his journal. The universe followed my script, he said, because I rehearsed it in dreams. You are always telling stories, whether you realize it or not. Every time you say, I'm unlucky, or I always fail, you hand your subconscious a script, and it performs it faithfully. Why not choose the story you wish to live? Night is the theater, sleep is the rehearsal, and your subconscious is the actor awaiting direction. Write with care, read with conviction, and trust that your life will follow the tale you have scripted. Chapter 21. The Dream Detective's Investigation. Dreams are not random. They are encrypted messages from the subconscious, reflections of the seeds you have planted and the weeds you have allowed. Every dream carries symbols, emotions, and narratives that reveal the state of your inner programming. To ignore them is to throw away a map drawn by your deepest self. To study them is to become a detective of destiny, uncovering clues that guide you toward mastery. Constance, a woman who often awoke puzzled by her vivid dreams, decided one day to treat them not as nonsense, but as guidance. She began recording them each morning, writing down colors, images, feelings. At first, the entries seemed meaningless, but over time she noticed patterns. Whenever she dreamed of locked doors, she was on the brink of resisting change. Whenever she dreamed of crossing bridges, opportunities soon appeared. She realized her dreams were a coded language of her subconscious, pointing her toward alignment or warning her of obstacles. The subconscious speaks in symbols, not in linear logic. Water often represents emotion. Flights signal liberation. Houses represent the self. When you track these symbols across nights, you begin to see how your subconscious evaluates the seeds you have planted with affirmations, gratitude, or fear. Your dreams reveal whether your subconscious accepts them, resists them, or needs refinement. The ritual is straightforward yet sacred. Place a journal and pen beside your bed. Before sleep, whisper, "Show me guidance in dreams." Reveal the state of my inner world upon waking. Record every detail you can recall, no matter how trivial. Note the colors, the emotions, the sensations. Over time, study the patterns. They will speak to you with increasing clarity. Bartholomew, a craftsman, discovered this practice transformed his manifestation work. When his dreams were filled with images of growth, gardens, expanding buildings, his projects thrived. When storms or broken tools appeared, he knew his energy was misaligned. By paying attention, he adjusted his rituals, corrected his affirmations, and refined his intentions until his waking life flowed with precision. Dreams are the investigation reports of your subconscious, written in a symbolic tongue. To ignore them is to remain blind. To study them is to decode your destiny. As dream detective, you become aware of your own progress, aware of your blocks, aware of the subtle adjustments needed to align with your highest self. Each night, your subconscious leaves you clues. Each morning, you must gather them like precious gems. Approach your dreams with reverence, not dismissal. They are messages from the depths of your being, the very soil where your destiny is rooted. Become a detective, investigate their meanings, and you will find yourself guided not by chance, but by the secret language of your own soul. Chapter 22. The Manifestation Mathematician. The universe is not chaos. Beneath the shifting tides of events lies an elegant order, a geometry woven into the fabric of creation. Spirals unfold in seashells and galaxies alike. Petals unfurl in patterns of the golden ratio. Even your breath follows rhythms mirrored in cosmic design. To align with this hidden mathematics is to step into harmony with the currents that guide reality. When you sleep, this sacred geometry imprints itself most powerfully, and you can choose to embed your desires within its patterns. In doing so, you become the mathematician of manifestation. Adelaide, a woman of quiet thought, first encountered this truth through an ancient scroll inscribed with spirals and triangles. She traced the designs with her fingertips before bed, whispering her intentions with each line. That night she dreamed of standing inside a vast mandala, every angle glowing with light, every curve resonating with her desires. When she awoke, her heart carried a certainty she had never known. Her life soon began to mirror the shapes she had meditated upon. Opportunities unfolded in natural progression, as though following divine calculation. Sacred geometry is the architecture of manifestation. The subconscious mind, deeply symbolic, responds to numbers and shapes even more readily than words. A triangle embodies stability, a circle infinity, a spiral expansion. When you visualize your desires within these forms, you harness archetypal structures that the subconscious accepts as universal truth. It no longer questions, for the language of geometry is older than thought itself. The practice begins simply. Before sleep, close your eyes and imagine a spiral of golden light emerging from your heart. At the center of the spiral, place your desire, clear, vivid, alive. Watch as the spiral expands, carrying your intention outward, unfolding like a galaxy. Or see your dream contained within a luminous triangle, each side representing thought, emotion, and manifestation. Let this geometry turn slowly in your mind as you drift into sleep, imprinting itself upon your subconscious. Maximilian, a carpenter weary of failure, discovered this technique. Each night he visualized his goals inscribed within circles of light, repeating them in sequences of 3, 5, and 8. He began to notice his manifestations unfolding with uncanny precision, steps building naturally upon each other, problems dissolving before they grew heavy. "It was as though I had unlocked the equation behind destiny," he said. "You too can weave your desires into the mathematics of creation. Use repetition not haphazardly, but in sacred numbers. Speak affirmations 3 times for balance, 5 for change, 8 for abundance. Imagine your wishes arranged in mandalas flowing like rivers of symmetry. Trust that your subconscious, fluent in the language of pattern, will accept them deeply. The mathematician of manifestation does not control fate through force, but through alignment. By embedding intention into universal structures, you invite reality to unfold as gracefully as a flower, as inevitably as a spiral. Tonight, as you lie in stillness, picture your desire glowing at the heart of sacred geometry. Let it rotate, expand, harmonize. Fall asleep within that mandala and awaken in a world reshaped by pattern and law. For the universe itself is a great equation, and you are now learning to write within it. Chapter 23. The Collective Consciousness Connector. You are not alone. Though your mind may feel like a solitary flame flickering in the dark, it is connected to an infinite gem of other flames, stretching across time and space. This network is the collective consciousness, the shared mind of humanity, the living archive of every thought, every dream, every triumph and failure. By day, the illusion of separateness blinds you. By night, in the softened state of sleep, the illusion dissolves. You drift naturally into this sea, contributing your vibrations and receiving the wisdom of countless others. When you enter with intention, you can consciously connect, drawing insights, energy, and inspiration from the shared field of all. Tabitha, a teacher in a small village, learned this truth through experience. Troubled by her students' struggles, she went to bed one night whispering, "Show me how others have guided the lost." In her dreams, she found herself surrounded by teachers from centuries past. They showed her new ways of explaining, offered her words of encouragement, filled her heart with compassion. When she awoke, she brought these methods into her classroom. The students flourished, and Tabitha realized she had touched not only her own mind, but the entire river of human knowing. The collective consciousness operates like an ocean. Each individual mind is a wave, distinct yet inseparable from the whole. When you fall asleep, you return to that ocean, your subconscious free to mingle with others, to drink from the well of accumulated wisdom. Sometimes you sense it as sudden clarity, sometimes as dreams filled with unfamiliar faces, sometimes as synchronicities appearing by day. To connect consciously, begin with openness. Before bed, close your eyes and visualize yourself as a point of light. See countless other lights glowing around you, weaving together into a vast web. Whisper, "I merge with the wisdom of the collective. Let me receive what serves my highest good." Drift into sleep carrying the image of connection. Trust that your subconscious will find its way. Montgomery, a city planner, applied this when struggling with community development. Each night he asked for guidance from those who had built before him. His dreams filled with cities of the past, with images of plazas, aqueducts, and markets designed centuries earlier. From these visions, he drew ideas that solved his modern problems. "I did not invent," he said. "I remembered through others." The collective is not always gentle. If you enter with fear, you may absorb fear. If you enter with love, you magnify love. This is why gratitude and clarity are essential. Before connecting, raise your vibration. Let your final thoughts be of appreciation, of unity, of service. Then you align with the highest layers of the collective field, ensuring that what flows into you uplifts and guides. Each night you are both giver and receiver. Your thoughts ripple outward into the sea, touching others unseen. Their thoughts ripple back, shaping your dreams. This exchange is constant, silent, powerful. To recognize it is to take responsibility for the energy you contribute and to claim the wisdom waiting for you. Tonight, remember that you are more than a single self. You are a thread in humanity's tapestry, a wave in its ocean, a spark in its constellation. Sleep becomes the portal through which you plug into this greater current. Step into it consciously and awaken not only guided but connected. Chapter 24, The Reality Revision Workshop. The past is not fixed stone. It is clay, pliable in the hands of memory. Though events unfold as they will, what matters most is not what happened, but the meaning you assign. The subconscious holds these meanings like seeds, replaying them endlessly until they become the soil of your reality. But here lies a secret. In sleep, you can revise these memories. You can reshape the story, heal the wound, and alter the imprint carried within you. By doing so, you change not only your relationship with the past, but also the destiny it creates. Evangeline, a woman burdened by her father's absence, carried pain from a childhood recital he missed. Each night she remembered it, fueling her sense of unworthiness. But one evening she chose a different path. Before sleep, she revisited the memory in her mind, seeing her father absent not with bitterness, but with compassion. She imagined him writing her a letter of apology, imagined herself receiving it with love. She carried this revision into sleep. Over time, her relationship with her father softened, and her self-image transformed. The past had not changed, but her subconscious no longer carried its wound. Horatio, a merchant who lost his family fortune, felt doomed to repeat failure. Then he practiced revision nightly. He reimagined the loss as a lesson, picturing himself discovering resilience in the ashes. In dreams, he saw himself rising stronger, wiser. Soon, opportunities emerged, and he rebuilt his wealth. "I did not deny the past," he said. "I rewrote its power over me." The subconscious mind does not care whether a memory is factual or imagined. It records both as experience. When you revise a memory in the twilight before sleep, the subconscious accepts the new version and its influence replaces the old. Your life shifts accordingly because your actions, beliefs, and expectations flow from these internal stories. The practice is intentional. Choose a memory that carries pain. Close your eyes before bed and replay it. Then gently alter it. Imagine yourself reacting differently. Imagine compassion where there was anger, strength where there was fear. Add details until the revised version feels alive. Whisper, "This is now the truth my mind carries." Drift into sleep holding that scene, trusting the subconscious to imprint it. Revision is not denial. You honor what happened, but you choose how it lives within you. You cannot alter events, but you can alter the echo. And the echo shapes everything. The Reality Revision Workshop is within you every night. Enter it with courage. Gather your old wounds like worn pages, rewrite them with wisdom, and hand them back to your subconscious. When you awaken, you will find yourself freer, lighter, no longer chained to stories that no longer serve you. The past is not prison but clay. Shape it, and you shape your tomorrow. Chapter 25, The Gratitude Amplification Chamber. Gratitude is not simply a feeling, it is a frequency, a force that reshapes the architecture of reality itself. To carry thankfulness into sleep is to enter a chamber where blessings multiply, where the subtle threads of your destiny glow brighter, weaving into patterns of abundance. When you amplify gratitude before surrendering tonight, the subconscious accepts it as the dominant state, and like a tuning fork, it draws the external world into harmony with that vibration. Cordella, a woman who had mastered many practices, yet still felt something missing, stumbled into this truth one night when she was too weary to affirm or visualize. She simply lay in bed and whispered, "Thank you." The words were small, but her heart pulsed with sincerity. She repeated it. "Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this chance to begin again. As she drifted into sleep, her body softened, her mind released, and gratitude became her final song. The next morning, she noticed subtle shifts. Colors brighter, conversations warmer, opportunities easier. Within weeks, her life changed in ways she had long struggled to manifest. She told her friends, "Gratitude is the chamber where miracles echo louder." Gratitude works because it bridges the gap between desire and fulfillment. You cannot feel thankful and lackful in the same breath. When you give thanks, you declare abundance already present, and the subconscious takes it as fact. It then organizes your perceptions and behaviors to align with abundance. You notice more, attract more, allow more. The chamber is not metaphor, it is real, a state of mind where your heart expands and the universe rushes to fill it. The ritual is sacred, yet simple. Before bed, close your eyes and recall 3 blessings from your day, no matter how small. The smile of a stranger, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the taste of food that nourished you. Hold each memory like a jewel, turning it until it glimmers. Then speak aloud or within, "I am thankful." Allow your chest to fill with warmth, your breath to deepen, your body to relax. Imagine these jewels of gratitude floating into the chamber of your subconscious, filling it with golden light. Algernon, a man weighed down by years of melancholy, began this practice reluctantly. At first he struggled to find even one thing to be thankful for, but he forced himself to notice the smallest details, the softness of his pillow, the rhythm of his breath, the persistence of his own heart still beating. Night after night, he gave thanks for these. Gradually, his focus shifted. He began to notice beauty where once he saw only sorrow. Opportunities appeared, his relationships softened, and his depression lifted. He discovered that gratitude was not about what he had, but how he saw. The chamber of gratitude is always open, waiting for you to step inside. Each night, when the veil thins and the subconscious prepares to weave tomorrow, fill it with thankfulness. Let this be your final vibration before surrendering to dreams. For gratitude multiplies silently, invisibly, faithfully. It is the most reliable alchemy, the purest magnet, the surest prayer. Step into the chamber, amplify your gratitude, and awaken to a reality transformed by appreciation. Chapter 26, The Infinite Possibility Portal. Limitations are illusions dressed as laws. They whisper that you are bound by circumstance, trapped by past, restricted by scarcity. But when night falls, the mind loosens its chains, revealing the truth. You are not limited. You are infinite. Sleep is the portal through which you step into possibility unbound. Here, every dream you dare imagine already exists, waiting for you to claim it. Serafina, a woman who had resigned herself to smallness, discovered this portal by accident. One evening, exhausted by disappointment, she whispered to herself before sleep, "What if I could be free?" As she drifted, she imagined her consciousness expanding beyond her room, beyond her town, beyond the earth itself. She felt herself dissolving into starlight, limitless, untethered. That night she dreamed of oceans, mountains, and cities she had never seen, of adventures and opportunities she had never considered. When she awoke, her perspective was transformed. She no longer asked, "Is this possible?" She asked, "Which possibility shall I choose?" Within a year, her life expanded in ways she had once deemed impossible. The subconscious, when freed from waking logic, operates in the quantum field of infinite possibility. It does not recognize barriers of time, space, or probability. It perceives all potential realities as equally real. When you enter sleep with intention, you step through the portal, aligning with versions of your life beyond limitation. The practice begins with expansion. Before sleep, lie still and imagine your awareness growing beyond your body. Feel it stretch past walls, past sky, past planets. Let yourself merge with the infinite. In this vastness, hold your desire lightly, as though it already exists among countless possibilities. Whisper, I step into the portal of the infinite. I choose this reality, then surrender, trusting your subconscious to navigate the possibilities and anchor the one you have chosen. Octavius, a fisherman confined to a small harbor, used this ritual nightly. He imagined his mind expanding beyond the horizon, his fleet growing, his nets abundant. At first it seemed fantasy, but within months he expanded his operations, his business thriving. He said, I found my ships in the infinite. Then I returned to sail them. The infinite possibility portal is always present. You need only remember it exists. Each night, instead of falling into sleep as a prisoner of circumstance, walk through the portal as a sovereign creator. Release the belief that you are bound and embrace the truth. You are unlimited. Step into the vastness, choose your reality, and awaken carrying it closer to manifestation. Chapter 27, The Energy Signature Designer. Every being radiates energy. It is unseen by most, yet felt by all. You have known it, the comfort of one person's presence, the unease of another's silence. This energy is your signature, your personal frequency, constantly broadcasting into the universe. It acts as magnet, pulling toward you experiences, people, and opportunities that match its vibration. Most let this signature drift unconsciously, shaped by moods and fears. But the wise know a secret. Before sleep, when your energy field is pliable, you can design your signature. You can choose the frequency you broadcast, and in doing so, you choose the life you attract. Magnolia, a woman who once radiated only despair, stumbled upon this practice. Each night, instead of surrendering to sadness, she placed her hand upon her heart and whispered, I choose joy. She visualized golden light flowing outward, filling her body, expanding into her room, stretching into the world. She imagined herself as a sun, radiant and warm. Night after night, she repeated this until her energy shifted. Soon, people sought her out, opportunities found her, love embraced her. She became living proof that energy shapes destiny. Your subconscious aligns with the signature you set before sleep. If you radiate scarcity, it amplifies scarcity. If you radiate abundance, it multiplies abundance. The energy you fall asleep with becomes the tone of your dreams, and your dreams imprint it deeper, programming your waking reality. The practice is deliberate. Before bed, sit or lie quietly. Close your eyes and ask, what frequency do I choose tonight? Perhaps it is love, prosperity, vitality, peace. Visualize this energy as light radiating from your heart. See it expand, pulsing with each breath, filling your entire being. Feel it spreading beyond you, shaping the very air. Whisper, this is my signature. This is what I broadcast. Drift into sleep with this radiance intact. Ferdinand, a struggling musician, practiced this nightly. He chose the signature of success, imagining himself bathed in applause, filled with creative fire. Within months, his career flourished, his performances alive with magnetism. I became the vibration of my dream, he said, and the world responded. Your energy signature is not fixed. It is yours to design each night. Do not fall asleep radiating fear or despair. Choose. Radiate the frequency you desire most, and let your subconscious carry it into the night. The universe will echo back what you broadcast. Become the designer of your energy, and you become the designer of your destiny. Chapter 28, The Synchronicity Orchestrator. There are no accidents. What you call coincidence is the language of the universe, arranging itself in response to your frequency. Synchronicities are threads of gold woven through the fabric of your life, guiding you, affirming you, nudging you toward alignment. By day, you notice them as chance encounters, repeated numbers, unexpected opportunities. By night, when your subconscious is open and pliable, you may plant the seeds that orchestrate them. Sleep becomes not only rest, but rehearsal for divine timing, and you become the conductor of a symphony played across waking reality. Clementine, a woman whose days once felt directionless, discovered this truth when she began programming her sleep with signs. Each night she whispered, "Show me confirmation." She asked for simple things: a blue butterfly, a phrase from childhood, the sound of bells. The next day, these signs appeared with uncanny precision. A butterfly landing on her window, a stranger quoting her remembered phrase, bells ringing as she made a choice. She realized the night had instructed her subconscious to notice what had always been there, aligning her inner guidance with outer events. "Synchronicity," she said, "is the universe speaking in my own language." The subconscious is a bridge between your intention and the world around you. When you impress it with clear symbols before sleep, it heightens your awareness and magnetizes your reality to reflect them. The universe is infinite, but your attention is selective. By choosing your symbols, you tune your awareness, and synchronicities rush to meet you. The practice begins with clarity. Before sleep, decide on a sign, a symbol, a phrase, a number that will confirm your alignment. Whisper it softly, "Let me see this if I am on the right path." Visualize it vividly. Feel the excitement of receiving it, then surrender to dreams. Your subconscious will carry the request into the field of reality, arranging your perception to notice the sign when it appears. Gideon, a wandering artist, used this method while uncertain about his career. He asked to see the color indigo as confirmation of his next step. The following day, everywhere he turned, indigo appeared. In scarves, in paintings, in the sky itself. He followed the guidance and soon landed a gallery showing in Paris that transformed his life. "I did not chase signs," he said. "I invited them." Synchronicity is proof that you are not separate from the universe but an inseparable part of its fabric. By programming your subconscious during sleep, you train it to recognize the threads already woven for you. Soon, life feels like a dance, each step answered by music, each question mirrored by signs. You are not lost, you are guided. You are not small, you are part of the grand orchestration. Tonight, as you fall asleep, whisper your request. Trust that the orchestra is already playing, waiting for your cue. Chapter 29, The Master Key Holder. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when they realize that the practices, the rituals, the affirmations, and the symbols are but keys. Powerful, yes, but keys to a door already inside them. Beyond the techniques lies the ultimate truth. You are not only the dreamer programming the subconscious, you are the vast consciousness in which the dream itself arises. To realize this is to become the master key holder, for you discover that the locks were never real, only illusions waiting to be dissolved. Wilhelmina, a woman of deep contemplation, reached this revelation late in life. After years of affirmations, visualizations, and rituals, she lay in bed one night and whispered, "What if I am already the source?" As she drifted, she felt her consciousness expand, dissolving the boundaries of self. She realized that the universe was not outside her, it was within her. The stars, the dreams, the rituals, all danced inside the vast expanse of her awareness. She laughed softly upon waking, saying, "I was always the key, the lock, and the door." This realization does not negate the practices, it completes them. Gratitude, affirmations, dream work, and symbols are bridges. They carry you closer to truth. But once you glimpse the ocean, you realize the bridge was always suspended in your own being. The subconscious is not separate from you, it is you. The universe is not separate from you, it is you. When you rest in this knowing, Manifestation ceases to be effortful. It becomes natural, as breathing is natural. Ignatius, a merchant once consumed by striving, discovered this truth. Instead of rehearsing affirmations, he began each night simply resting in awareness itself. He whispered, "I am the dreamer of all dreams." In sleep, he experienced vast realms, but with no effort to control them. Upon waking, his life flowed effortlessly. Business prospered, relationships deepened, health returned. He no longer labored to manifest, for he had aligned with the truth that he was manifestation itself. The practice of the master key holder is surrender. Before sleep, do not struggle to program or command. Instead, close your eyes and feel yourself as vast consciousness. Let thoughts dissolve. Let identity soften. Rest in the awareness that watches all, the awareness that dreams all. Whisper gently, "I am the dreamer." Then drift, not into effort, but into recognition. The key lies in remembering that you are not seeking to open doors. You are the house in which all doors exist. You are not calling reality from outside. You are the field in which reality takes form. To sleep with this knowing is to awaken free, unburdened, luminous. The master key was never hidden. It was always in your hand, because you are the key itself. Chapter 30, The Awakened Dreamer's Graduation. Every journey leads to return. The rituals, the practices, the symbols, and the visions were never ends in themselves, but stepping stones toward mastery. To graduate as the awakened dreamer is not to abandon them, but to weave them together into a seamless dance, guided not by fear or striving, but by intuition and flow. You no longer walk as student, but as co-creator, your nights and days blending into one continuous ceremony of manifestation. Praphany, a seeker who had walked many paths, discovered this integration. At first, she practiced rigidly, gratitude one night, affirmations another, dream inquiry the next. But gradually she noticed her subconscious responding to her natural flow. Some nights she felt called to the lunar rhythm, others to ancestral wisdom, others to simple surrender. The practices became tools in her hand, not chains around her wrists. She understood the deeper truth. Mastery is not about perfect repetition, but about harmony with one's own inner rhythm. Cornelius, once a seeker like you, found the same. He began combining practices, whispering affirmations while holding crystals, connecting with ancestors while revising memories, entering the quantum field while humming sacred tones. His nights became sacred ceremonies, personalized and fluid. His manifestations accelerated not because he forced them, but because he had become fluent in the language of consciousness. "I no longer practice," he said. "I live." Graduation is integration. It is stepping into bed each night with awareness, not obligation. It is recognizing that sleep is not escape, but creation, that dreams are not random, but sacred, that your subconscious is not enemy, but ally. You are no longer fumbling with techniques. You are orchestrating them as an artist conducts a symphony. The ritual of the awakened dreamer is simple. Listen, trust your intuition, allow your practices to weave naturally. Some nights you will write, some nights you will visualize, some nights you will simply rest in pure awareness. All are valid, all are sacred, for the dreamer is awake within you. Graduation does not mean ending, it means beginning anew. You awaken each morning not as a seeker, but as a creator, living proof of the power of sleep. The universe dreams through you and you through it, a circle without end. Tonight, when you close your eyes, step into your sacred chamber, not as student, but as master. Whisper softly, "I am the awakened dreamer." Let that truth settle into your being as you drift into slumber, for you have graduated, not into perfection, but into alignment. You now walk as dreamer and creator, awake within both night and day. and the story of your destiny is yours to write, to dream, to live.